Hello everyone, it's Shannon here for Hero Arts. In today's video we are going to create 3 shaker cards using the November My Monthly Hero Kit. Plus I'm going to share my favorite way to mask with these awesome new masking dies included in the kit. Let's start off by taking a closer look at the masking dies and included stamp set in the kit. This is the large stamp set here, lots of images, really beautiful, kind of like a woodcut look. You also get 2 backgrounds in this stamp set and a bunch of sentiments. These are the masking cuts. Now these dies will cut right up to your stamped line, so no more white border, which makes them really great for creating masks. I have 3 A2 panels of Dove White cardstock here, and I'm going to start by creating a window in the front of them. I'm going to just hand cut this out using an X-Acto knife, so I've used a bit of scrap cardstock here, cut it to the dimensions of 2 3/4 by 2 1/4, centered it on my panel, and then I will use a ruler and X-Acto knife to cut it out. I just wanted to share with you a way to make these shaker cards if you don't have a die to cut that opening, a die that at least fits around the stamped background really nicely. I did discover though that the Rectangles Peekaboo Doors Mini Infinity dies, the 3rd largest die in this set, fits really nicely around that background stamp, so you can definitely use this die if you have it. Now it is a peekaboo die, so it has like a hinge on the left side, so after I cut it once, I then flipped the die around, so now I can cut that hinge side out so I have a clean window as well. So I went ahead and created windows on the other 2 panels, and now I'm going to trace these openings onto the front of A2 top folding white card bases. I am writing a number on the back side of the card base and the back side of the panel. So for this set I wrote 1 on the back side of both. I'm keeping these together in sets because not all of my openings are cut in the exact same place, so I want to make sure I keep the front and the card base together. So I'm now moving on to my second card here, so writing a little 2 on the back side of the panel and the card front, and now I'm going to trace that opening. So now that I have my window traced onto all 3 card bases, I'm going to move on to my stamps. So in my MISTI here, I have one of those card bases, and then I've positioned in that pencil opening the background stamp and then my image stamp on top. So when I fold my MISTI over, my MISTI is going to pick up that top stamp. The reason why I have those 2 kind of positioned in there is just so I can get the right placement of my image on top of that background stamp, so that snowman looks like he's on the snowman in the right spot. So I now inked it up in intensified black ink and then just stamped it onto my card front. I went ahead and repeated this process for my other 2 images, and now I'm going to move on to my masks. So I'm going to be using a untraditional material. I'm going to make my masks out of contact paper. If you're not familiar with contact paper, it's typically used to line or protect shelves. I have clear, but if you have printed, you can definitely use that. I've cut a small strip off here, and now I'm going to grab the dies that I need, place them on this strip, and then run it through my die cutting machine. These dies will cut through that contact paper beautifully, and now I'll have these really wonderful masks for protecting my stamped image. So I'm now ready to stamp my background stamp. I have one of my card bases back in my MISTI. I positioned that background stamp in that penciled opening, and now I'm going to grab my contact paper mask, remove the backing, and then place it over the stamped image. Once I got it in the right spot, I'll then press all over it to make sure it's stuck down, and then I'm going to grab my anti-static bag and just put some powder over that mask. That mask is kind of plasticky, so the stamp can sometimes pick it up after you stamp it. So this just ensures that mask stays in place. Now I'm going to ink up my background stamp first with Splash Reactive ink, then I'll clean it, and then I'll move on to Thistle, and then I'll finish with Blue Hawaii. These are the 3 colors that are in the Winter Sky ombre ink pad included in the kit, so you would just use your ink pad. Since I don't have that, I'm just kind of recreating it here with my reactive inks. And once I finish stamping it, I'm ready to repeat this process for my other 2 card bases. So now that I've finished stamping my backgrounds, I'm going to move on to a little bit of coloring. I have some Copics here, and I'm just going to pick out one element in each one of these images to add this pop of yellow too. I think it's just kind of make these not look so just plain black and white. After I've colored in that scarf yellow, I grabbed a really light blue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow to the snowman and the snow mound. Now for the tree, I'm just going to color that star yellow, add a little shadow under the tree, and then for the house, I'll just color the windows with that pop of yellow. And now that will finish my Copic coloring. So I went ahead and stamped sentiments on the front of my windowed panels in intensified black ink, and now I'm going to adhere a little panel of acetate to the back side. I'm going to grab my precision glue, just kind of go around that opening and then stick down my acetate. I'll repeat that process for my other two panels, and now I'm going to move on to kind of finishing these cards up. I did notice I had a little bit of sticky residue left from my contact paper mask, so I used a adhesive eraser to kind of pick it up. You could definitely just use your finger, just make sure your ink is dry, or even try just an anti-static bag. Just going to pick up that little bit of remaining adhesive because you don't want your sequins to kind of stick to that adhesive. And it comes off really easy. So I just created a well with foam tape, and now I'm going to fill it with some Icicle sequins mix, and then I'll remove the backing on that foam tape, and then I'll just finish my card by placing my panel on top. And I'll just go ahead and repeat this process for my two remaining cards. And here are my finished shaker cards. I'll hold them up to the camera so you can get a good look at each one of them. I really love how these turned out. They have a very clean and simple look, but very bold and vibrant. Love that ombre background. It really makes our images pop. And it was so easy to kind of mask them off and create this look thanks to the masking dies. I hope you guys enjoyed today's cards and video. If you'd like any more information on the products I use, please head over to Hero Arts. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.